Well, hello and welcome to the Cali Bulb Planting Workshop. This is a workshop which is designed for those of you who we hope are going to put your bulbs into the Cali Spring Show, which will be held next year, 2021. So what we're going to do today is just to go through the process of planting bulbs in pots. But the first thing that we've got to do is to make sure that we use the right size of pot. And the size of pot which we're recommending that you use, and which is the one which is mentioned in the show schedule, is a 2-litre pot. Now, we all tend to use these black 2-litre pots, which we've recycled from elsewhere, plants we've bought for the garden and things of that sort. So that's it. That's what we're using. The compost which we're using is, this is a bulb fibre compost. It's one specially. It's got a mixture of compost plus grit in it so that there's good free drainage. Some people will actually just use ordinary potting compost, and that's fine. You can use peat free, you can use stuff with peat in it. I don't mind, as long as it's a compost which will hold moisture and has enough nutrients in it just to give the plants a kick, because the magic all happens in here. This is where the magic is. The magic is in the little bulb, and if I open this little bulb, we can see right in the centre is where the flower bud is. So if I cut this bulb open, there we go, like that. So there is the bulb that I've just split, and there is the flower bud right in the centre. See that little bit there? That's the flower bud. So that will have the little daffodil flower in it for later on in the spring. The bulbs will grow, the roots come from here, and the shoot comes right out the top. It looks, look at it, it looks dead and dry, but it's not. That's full of life, and it's full of energy, and it's just waiting to go. So the idea is that we're filling the pot. Now, normally when we do this sort of thing, you're filling with leaving a gap at the top, but here we're not. So all we're doing is filling the pot right up, and then just gently pressing the hyacinths into the surface, like that. There you are. Make sure they're not touching, so that if there is any disease in any one of them, then it won't spread to the others. Now, what we need for the show bench is a good pan with 3 hyacinths in it. But if one of these fails, and that doesn't look like a very good one, does it? If any of them fail, we can use these individuals as cut flowers at the show, so it's never going to be wasted. Finally, make sure that you label the plant. There it is, and I'm going to push the label right down into the bottom. That's the variety Jan Boss. Okay, so that's that one. Now, next one that I'm going to do are the tulips. Now, with the tulips, the schedule suggests that we should have 5 tulips to the pot. But what we've got here is that we've got 6, so we've got 1 that we can use as a cut flower later on. So we're just again arranging those tulips around the side of the pot first. 5 round the side, just make sure they're well spaced out, and then 1 in the middle. Label into the pot again. Now the thing that's going to happen here is that we may get all of those growing, or it may just be 4 of them, or 5 of them, or something like that. If they all grow, the one that we would take out eventually would be that one, and leave those 5 for the show schedule says it should be 5 in a pot. Now we're on to the main crop, as it were now, and that is the narcissus or daffodils. Now, daffodils are a little bit more complicated because they have been divided into divisions. We have division 1, 2, 3, 4, right up to division 11. So that's what we've got to remember. But on the show schedule, it will tell you which ones have got to go into which place. And if you look up the names of daffodils on websites, the growers will tell you which division they're in, and indeed we have labelled the bags so that you can see what division your daffodils are supposed to be in. This is the variety American Express, and it's one which is in division 1, and that is just a simple process of pressing them into the surface of the pot like that. Now again, see, they're right at the top. They're not buried into the pot as you would normally do with other plantings. So we're obviously going to have to do something different with these as we progress through the system. So that's a Division 1. Here I've written it on the back of the label, Division 1, and that's the variety American Heritage. Just filling the pot up again, a little firm to make sure that there's enough compost in there. And I always like to use my fingers, never try not to use my thumbs on this, because if you use your thumbs you tend to firm it too much. This is the variety Narcissus Fairy Island, and it says it's a Division 3. So this means that it is one which has a very short cup, and often they're a bit more difficult to get to grow. But anyway, here we are. We've got Fairy Island here, a Division 3, and we'll open that and see what the bulbs are like. Now these are much bigger. See, these are double-nosed bulbs. Look at that. They've got far more prospect of getting flowers on them. So there we are. 1, 2, 3. 4. That was 4, and there's 1 for the middle. Now you think, oh, you're putting far too many in there, George, but you know, that can be used as a pot where we can take 1 flower out for cut flower, or it can be used as a pot where we put it in as a Division 3 entry in the pot section. And that means that we're covering all our bases. We're getting 2 shots at maybe winning a first, second or third. So that's it. We've planted all the regulation bulbs. We come now to what I always think is an exciting part of the preparation for the show, and that's planting the Scamp Challenge bulbs. So just filling 2 pots, just the same way as before. Filling the pots right to the top, like that. There we go, a little firm. Just strike them off like that. There you go. Now, this is the Scamp Challenge. Now, Scamp are the bulb producers that we get our bulbs from, that the Callie gets its bulbs from. They're grown down in Falmouth. It's a company called Quality Daffodils, and they really are specialist bulb growers, and the material they produce is just outstanding. So there it is. It's just called the Scamp Challenge. That's all. That's the name that's on the label for them. And so every year when you get or accept the challenge, as it were, to grow a quality daffodil, there you are. You have to buy it before you find out exactly what it is. And this year it's a variety called Bear Ferrers. Now that's a double. It's in Division 4, and it's a white with an orange centre. So that's going to be quite exciting. And the idea here is that you grow these on, you'll get 2 or 3 bulbs of the Scamp Challenge, you plant them in a pot, and then you grow them so that you cut 1 flower and put it in to the Scamp Challenge section or class in the show. So that's what we do, and it's great fun. It makes it really difficult for the judges, I can tell you, because there can be anything up to 20 individual blooms, and he's got to pick the best one. So give them a hard time. Get some Scamp Challenge bulbs. So there we are, and these just the same as before. Just get planted onto the top of the pot. Just like that. I'll move that one round, and there we are. Label it. Bob's your uncle. As well as running the main show, the Callie also offers a competition for junior groups, and this is one where they are encouraged, the likes of rainbows and brownies and folks like that, encouraged to grow bulbs in these little pots here. So the variety which we have selected this year for you to grow is a variety called Jetfire. So the idea here is just fill the pot up to the brim, just exactly the same, and plant your bulbs. So 1 in the middle, and then put 4 round the outside, just like that. Okay. So that's the variety Jetfire. So what happens to them now? What happens to all these bulbs now? Well, if you hang on, I'll just show you. So now that we've planted all the bulbs in the pots, the next stage is, what do we do with them? So we do this, and that is we put them in a plunge. And a plunge is just really an area in the garden where you can set the pots out, just like that there. We've got a piece of membrane in the bottom, which stops the roots going right down, and then we're going to cover these pots just with a layer of sand. And the idea in doing that is that we put weight on the top of the pot, and that holds the bulbs in, and it allows the roots to go down into the compost. The pots will sit there until either, now there's two propitious dates here, it will either be the 25th of January, which is Burns Night, or Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, or somewhere round about then, when we'll take them out of the plunge. We'll start the whole process of preparing them for the show, and that's when I start to do my bulb blog for the Cali, and you'll see then exactly what we do week by week, and you'll be able to compare your bulbs with my bulbs, because the ones that I've planted today I'm going to take home, put in my plunge and grow on for the show next year.